The government has done a horrible job managing our economy, managing our money, and they've created a fake market with a fake dollar. And now they're trying to put the brakes on everything by raising interest rates, but that's not going to stimulate the economy.
This is the Gold Standard from Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Deno. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment opinion and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at Midas Gold Group. His peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. And you're about to hear that demonstrated. Ken, it is a pleasure to join you again this week.
Yes, nice to speak to you today, as always, Dave.
Ken, our topic today is one that we spoke about in another program, Gold IRAs. But we're talking about it again today because, well, worrisome economic news is tumbling in on us from almost every quarter, almost every day. The question we will answer today is this, and it's an extremely important question. How can you get your wealth, your life savings, your funds for a secure retirement out of investments that are rapidly declining or threaten to decline? How can you get those funds moved into a secure financial shelter without having to pay taxes? So let's begin by looking at a couple of economic headlines from just this past week. First, Steve Forbes is warning that the current administration is mishandling inflation by throwing more money at it and talking of higher taxes. What do you think?
He's probably wrong. I don't think the current administration is just mishandling information. I think they're mishandling everything. So how about that?
How about it?
Yeah, but inflation, yes. And are they going to throw more money at it? Yeah, they have to. If our government doesn't spend and doesn't print money, the whole system collapses. So, he's just one of a number of growing voices that, is saying in economics, they've long blocked consideration of the most powerful solution to inflation. It's a return to the sound dollar. Remember, it used to be backed by gold, Dave, up to 1933, and then they cut it, and then they cut it completely in 1971. So our dollar, which is a Federal Reserve note, is backed by nothing since 1971, where they totally eliminated the gold standard. And the government and governments of the world, because this is global now, have given themselves the right to print as much money as they want, unlimited. We can print unlimited money. The central bank and the Federal Reserve Bank has quoted to saying we can print unlimited money. So, America, Dave, was built on the value and stability of gold. And with only a few interruptions, the U.S. maintained a gold standard, for 180 years until 1971. And that's when the federal government terminated the post-World War II Bretton Woods Agreement, and it set the dollar's value at $35 an ounce pegged in gold. Under a gold-backed dollar, Americans, Dave, and they enjoyed the greatest economic growth rate in history. Yet economists then and now persist in ignoring this record. It's almost as if we'll do whatever it takes to print as much money as we can because the whole system depends on that. So when you have a falling stock market like today, and I mean this is a bubble that's bursting, and when you have rising interest rates, where the Fed is trying to catch up to slow down runaway inflation, and you have no stability of our currency, where there's no gold backing of our dollars, this is just a very, very crazy financial system. What we're in right now, it's a very iffy solution, to say the least. And I don't see one that's not going to be very, very painful.
Steve Forbes was quoted as saying, "In economics, groupthink has long blocked consideration of the most powerful solution to inflation, a return to a sound dollar whose worth is defined," listen to this, "is defined by a fixed value of gold." Isn't that what we've been saying for a year now?
Yeah, I mean, for a long time. But, there's greed, and there's
Hmm.
markets, and there's trading, and there's the hope of getting rich, and there's central bankers, and there's politicians, and everything else that are just trying to line their own pockets. And in the meantime, they've destroyed the financial system. The stock market's turned into a casino, and now, as everyone can see, it's not fun when it starts to go the other way.
Yeah, you,
And we've been warning people for a very, very long time that this action is inevitable. So today, what we're going to concentrate on, how do we protect the value of our retirement accounts from losing tremendous amounts of value when the markets fall? And we're in the middle, folks, of that falling to, starting. So how do you protect the value of your IRAs, your old 401ks, from losing all of its value during the next market downturn, which we are in right now?
So, if I have my life savings invested in an IRA or maybe an old 401k or maybe stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, any paper assets that can be wiped out by stock market losses, which we are seeing on a daily basis now, how can I get that money out of those quickly without having to pay taxes?
Well, that's a good question, Dave. And yes, it looks like the markets have topped, last November, and we will have severe, sharp rallies from time to time. I mean, that's what happens in a bear market. You have sharp rallies, and then they just fail and make a new lower low. And a gold IRA, Dave, is a great way to protect, what many are worrying about right now, about being wiped out. And a gold IRA is a retirement account where you can convert an existing paper IRA or an old 401k or a TSP or maybe a 457 plan, 453B, and you can convert those funds tax free into physical gold. It's still within the IRA umbrella. It's stored for you safely at a depository and securely until you decide to take it out through a distribution. So this is actual gold and silver and platinum bars and coins that you can take delivery of at any time, knowing that it's an IRA and there's certain tax rules when you take money or metal, precious metal out of an IRA. But we're not talking about paper gold here, Dave. We're talking about physical, tangible asset. We're not talking about shares in a gold mining company
Mhm.
or some other form of digital gold. This is real gold, gold that you could hold on to. It belongs to you. It will be there. It will always be worth something, and it will be inside of your IRA, individual retirement account, for as long as you decide before you do, take it out.
And facilitating that transfer, that is a process that you handle on a daily basis?
Yeah, it is, Dave. Probably 40 to 50% of our business, which fluctuates, involves safeguarding people's wealth with gold IRAs. So we can walk you through the process, guide you each step of the way. And I have to tell you, we hear many of our clients that breathe a big sigh of relief once their investments, or some of their investments. Remember, we like opportunity, and we never put all of our eggs in one basket, but right now, many people are extremely concerned about their paper assets, especially their mutual funds and their stock, and they feel much more comfortable, much more at ease when some of that is protected and diversified with physical gold.
A reminder here that you are listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is gold IRAs. Ken, another headline from this week stated consumer prices increased by the fastest pace in nearly 4 decades. And then it went on to ask this question: where are surging consumer prices hitting Americans the hardest? I think you have the answer to that.
Yeah, well, I can cite energy, food, cars, appliances as major, increasing prices that we've seen over the last, 6 months to a year for sure. Energy costs include, the cost of heating and cooling your home, that's up over 33%. That's crippling, to some families, and it's going to be getting real warm soon. So, everybody will have their ACs on,
Mm.
which is normal. Gasoline prices have risen more than 50%, Dave. It's over $6 a gallon in California. I know in
Wow.
other parts of the country it's less, but that's kind of where we're at. So it's hitting your wallet not only at the pump and at the grocery store, but with everyday bills, which we're all going to see. And I got to be honest with you, I think that it's going to get a lot worse, before it gets better. We saw a very comparable period of this back in the 70s, where inflation was a little bit of a problem, and then they lied to everyone and said it's inflationary, it's temporary, it's transitory, and gold went down a little bit, just like we're seeing right now, only to reverse and triple in price in just a couple of years. So we could all see where this is headed. And quite frankly, it's just not going to end all of a sudden. We'll go through little periods where we might have a lull, or maybe the inflation rate may kind of calm down a little bit, but it's not going to go, the prices are not going to go back down to starting point number one. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Inflation is a new trend. And it's all due to the value of our dollar, Dave, which continues to decline, and that erodes the value of our investments. Whereas gold traditionally holds its value in troubled economic times. So when you have investments and you move them into a gold IRA, it gives you a good sense of security, in both inflationary times, in times of dollar devaluation, in times of money printing. It will help you weather the effects of a possible recession or even a depression, which it looks like, possibly we could be headed. So again, you can transform your risky paper assets into the stability of physical gold with a gold IRA, tax-free. It also could involve silver and physical platinum. And the good news, Dave, is it's not difficult. It's something that we do all the time. We work very hard for our clients to make those transfers and make those rollovers happen. And in this particular environment, you have to protect whatever you can and diversify your retirement accounts.
You're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is Gold IRAs. Ken, later in the program, I'm going to ask you how gold in my Gold IRA is stored and safeguarded. But first, in a moment, we're going to look at a specific precious metal that you can choose for your Gold IRA, and that's coming up right after this.
Consumer prices surged 8.5% in March, and wholesale inflation surged 11.4%, an even more ominous trend. Sebastian Gorka here. The markets recently reacted to runaway inflation and drastic measures by the Fed by dropping up to 1,000 points in a day. That's your investment security being flushed, which is why I recommend diversifying with physical gold from Midas Gold Group. Gold traditionally holds its value when the dollar falls and economies fail. Don't wait until inflation steals your savings or liberal policies damage financial markets even further. Diversify your investments today with physical gold and precious metals with the only company I recommend, Midas Gold Group. Log on MidasGoldGroup.com, then call them at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. Even if the Fed slows inflation, what will it do to the market? The signs are not good. Call Midas Gold Group, 855-322-GOLD. It's gold you can hold.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Deno. Our topic today is Gold IRAs. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to actually visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Ken, now we turn our attention to look at a specific gold product, one that qualifies for a gold IRA. And when I say qualifies, not all gold is eligible for a gold IRA, right?
Yeah, that's true, Dave. And I would love to get a message out there. I would love to get more calls from Orange County. I would love to get more calls from Riverside County. You all have plenty of wealth to protect and be grateful for, and it's time to diversify. You don't have to drive all the way up here or even in the outskirts of Phoenix, but people, you should be calling in. And the Gold Britannia is exactly one product that you should be considering. The Britannia is the main coin in the United Kingdom. It is a very conservatively priced coin. It's the embodiment, Dave, of the national spirit, appearing on coins for 2,000 years, ever since the Romans invaded the Isles and claimed them as a province of Britannia. In fact, Britannia first appeared on the Roman coins of Emperor Hadrian around 119 AD. So there's a long history to this coin besides being beautiful, and it does qualify for a gold IRA, which is what we're talking about. Modern sculptor and coin designer Philip Nathan, he created an interpretation of Britannia that was perfect for these new coins. They're strong, majestic, and resilient. Philip Nathan presented Britannia as the goddess standing upright against the wind and turbulent seas. Britannia is the face of the United Kingdom. She holds a trident. Her head is protected by a helmet, and she stands ready with both a shield and an olive branch. She's ready for anything. The last few years have seen many changes to the design of the Britannia series, Dave. The most important design change was in 2016, where they introduced a fifth official portrait of Queen Elizabeth. No British monarch has ever received such an honor. We buy and sell these coins every day. It's less of a price than the gold eagle. It's less than the gold buffalo. It's less than the gold maple. It's less than the gold kangaroo. And the quality is 24 karat gold. It's a great coin. It's undervalued. And for people that are looking for undervalued bullion coins, the Gold Britannia fits that bill.
And listeners, they can call you and ask more about buying or funding a gold IRA with the Gold Britannia?
Well, of course, Dave. I know, as always, Midas Gold Group is more than happy to advise prospective buyers on whether this bar or coin is a proper fit for their investment portfolio. We do keep a regular inventory of Gold Britannias. If we don't have it, if it's a large amount, we could order it directly from the mint. But it is a great 1 ounce gold coin. It's a tremendous gold IRA addition. And for other people out there that are just looking to protect some cash or maybe have some money in an account that's just dwindling away, it may just disappear, it's not getting any return, you could also own the Gold Britannia in that process as well, do it by doing a cash transaction.
Thank you, Ken. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to continue talking about gold IRAs with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and that's coming up right after this.
American GDP declined in the first quarter this year 1.4%. Many financial experts say that 2 straight quarterly declines signal a recession, which is why I diversify my investments with physical gold from the company I trust, Midas Gold Group. Gold holds its value when economies fail. Sebastian Gorka here. Call Midas Gold Group 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-GOLD. It's gold you can hold.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Deno, and our topic today is gold IRAs. If you live in the Los Angeles or the Phoenix areas, we actually invite you to come and visit our local office to meet with us in person. And for the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. And for those of you listening in any other city, or if you cannot physically come to our office, just call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Now, back to our topic of gold IRAs. One more headline: government spending to blame for inflation spike. That is according to the San Francisco Fed from a recent study. Ken?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of factors contributed to rising inflation, and the fact of the matter is, which one of our leaders is going to be able to do anything about it, to come up with a plan to, save what's going on? And I would say, well, none. So don't go down with the ship, folks. You can still protect what you can while you can. And sometimes I look at the government's economic policies, Dave, and actions, and I literally think of Homer Simpson slapping his forehead and saying, "Do it." Remember he used to do that? I
That's
mean,
right.
it's that funny to me. Have you ever ridden in a car where the driver continuously alternates between speeding up and slowing down? I know the government has been doing this for a very long time. The government has done a horrible job managing our economy, managing our money, and they've created a fake market with a fake dollar. And now they're trying to put the brakes on everything by raising interest rates, but that's not going to stimulate the economy. When they printed money, they overstimulated, and they have been overstimulating for a very, very long time. And it's not a good practice for financial stability and good economic health. It hasn't been. In the span of just 2 years, Congress unleashed a torrent of federal money to shield the economy from the coronavirus pandemic. Well, that was their reasoning, approving over $6 trillion in relief measures.
Wow.
And from this is different than in the past because this money went directly into people's hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very weird economy right now. I think there's over 11 million empty jobs. Stocks are falling. Money's just being printed out of thin air. New budgets for over $5 trillion are being suggested for next year, which is, I believe, a record. Janet Yellen, who's the Treasury Director, I believe, said that we should propose a $150 trillion global initiative to reset things. I mean, this is just ludicrous. It's asinine. It's crazy. But when you're talking about our money and when you're talking about our savings and our financial system, this is going to be very directly affecting each and every person that's listening to this broadcast. So, they may do crazy things. They may make asinine moves, which I have no doubt that they will, but that doesn't mean you have to lose all your money. So, that's what we're talking about today. When all of this stuff goes on and all of this nonsense continues by our political leaders and by our central bankers and our bankers, what can you do so you don't lose all your money and all your buying power? And one thing you can definitely do is protect your IRA investments with physical gold and silver and have a gold IRA instead of all paper.
And the dollar continues to drop in value. Wall Street is seeing huge daily sell-offs. In fact, I just saw yesterday an economist dared to use the term free fall. He dared to say that the market is in a free fall and consumer prices just keep going up. So let's go back one last time to the idea of moving paper assets over into the security of a gold IRA backed by physical gold. Ken, very quickly, how does a gold IRA work as far as storage of the gold?
Well, our clients can choose with our help a custodian and a depository for their physical gold, Dave. Like I said, you can take it out whenever you want, but whenever you take money or gold out of an IRA, you have to think about taxes. So a lot of people like to just do a transfer tax-free and lighten up on paper investments and be in a position to not lose tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars once the stock market continues to fall. So we have several of custodians and depositories that we work with. The physical gold you buy is safely stored, Dave, away for you at one of their secure sites. You could have access to it as you'd like or as needs arise. And as I said, we could help you choose from several custodians. And of course, we'll help you with the transfer paperwork, the rollover paperwork. We have an IRA department, Dave. It's what we do.
That is going to bring us to the end of our time together today here on The Gold Standard with Ken Russo, brought to you by Midas Gold Group. And a reminder, opinions given here are not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com. MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. I'm always happy to tell you that the Midas Gold Group is proud to be America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. Ken, thank you again for your time today.
Nice to talk to you today, as always, Dave.
I'm Dave Deno. I hope you'll come and join us again next week at this same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.